I'm Mims Bledsoe. I'm the owner of Pie Shop. Pie Shop is a specialized artisan bakery. We're committed to preserving the art of pie making and reinvigorating it. Try to think of any other food that has the same pull on the American psyche that pie has. You can't do it. There's no other food that I can think of that has the same cultural standing across generations, across regions. Pie, the history of pie is congruent to our own history as a country, and I think that this, paired with the phenomenon that a handcrafted pie is truly a dying art, is really a little bit of an observation on the evolution of American culture as a whole. I've been asked frequently since Pie Shop opened, how did I get into this? Why did I start Pie Shop? I came to feel that there was something inherently lacking in the kind of work that's become prevalent in our culture. I felt it was very important for me to enter the working world, not only to enter the working world, but to do so in such a way that I could promote what I felt was really missing from the kind of jobs that my peers were seeking out. About the same time, I was having these misgivings. Matthew Crawford's book, Shop Class's Soulcraft, came out. And so after reading this book, I concluded that I had to work with my hands, or at least that I would have to have some kind of work in which I had a foreseeable and measurable product. And so in all seriousness, I sat myself down and I asked myself, what can I do that is not only skilled and manual, but also, feminine, traditional, nostalgic, but at the same time, novel, totally unexpected, challenging. The one thing that really aligned with all of these goals was opening Pie Shop. There's really not a lot of places where you can actually go and get a good slice of pie and a cup of coffee. In fact, there's such a market for pie that NPR, the LA Times, a lot of nationally recognized news sources predicted that pie would be the biggest food trend of 2011. This didn't prove to be the case, and my feeling on that is that it's because pie is difficult. It takes quite a bit of skill and labor to put together an outstanding pie. We do the dough from scratch. This means that everything is hand blended and then chilled, and it's formed into balls, and it's rolled out for each individual pie by hand. This means that we peel our own fruit, we boil our own custard. In order to forego the canned shortcuts that are just simply not palatable, you have to do the extra work. This is a completely different undertaking than mixing and pouring cupcake batter, for instance. Baking pie is really a skill, it's a craft. And any home baker who's tried it knows that to bake an outstanding pie is really quite an accomplishment. I am very proud of the pastries we put out every day. So a combination of motives inspired me to open Pie Shop in spite of the economic climate. I mean, on the most basic level, not only am I giving myself a job in a climate when there aren't many, but I'm creating a whole environment of jobs, and moreover jobs that are productive, results-oriented, jobs that provide the opportunity for self-confidence and a sense of identity. So I think to ask the question, why would you do this in a recession, is really a reactionary one. It's one motivated by dread and insecurity. So that precisely gives the reason for why I would open Pie Shop in a recession, because it's these maladies that I want to fight. And so I would hope that any employee who works for Pie Shop would become, in this environment, more resilient to discouraging economic forecasts, because they would have a sense of self-confidence that came from having acquired and mastered a skill.
My favorite pie, I think, was over the summer when pears were in season, and they made a pear brie pie. I tried one slice and loved it, and bought a whole pie, took it home, and it was gone in literally 10 minutes.
My favorite is typically key lime of all time, and the key lime here is better than any I've ever had anywhere else in the world. It's always just consistently wonderful. The taste is just unbelievable. It's never overpowered with sugar, and they always have fresh fruits and vegetables that really just allow the freshness of the produce to speak for themselves, never overpowered, and the crust is by far a delicacy in and of itself.